What's up, dudes? So, welcome to another episode of FLOWFIX, man. We've got a routine today sent in to us from Christopher Lawler from Florida. This was the routine that he did for his first bodybuilding show. And we're going to show you today how we took it from this to this by improving the posing execution, the footwork between the poses, the order of poses. We're going to add in one cool transition, and then we're also going to show you how we improve the arm dynamics. All right, so let's run the flow. We're going to watch it through, and then we'll take it from there. Let's go. Boom! Beautiful physique, a lot of thick muscle. Love that pose. Mantis, boom. Definitely need to improve the shit face though. Dense muscle, man. A lot of great muscle for your first show. To open up the lats though, for sure. Here we go. Here we go. Boom! Oh, we gotta make that better, man. We gotta get that better, Chris. Nice archer. Doubling up the poses there. And finishing on the side chest. All right, cool. So let's get started. All right, so we start with posing execution. And the reason why is because if you don't have the pose perfect, then when you transition into it, it doesn't really matter how good your flow is, because if the pose isn't perfect, then the flow is fucked, all right? So we need to make sure that our pose and execution for every single pose is perfect. The poses that we're gonna fix in Chris's routine, the main ones I wanna focus on, is his front double bicep, the mantis pose, the single twisting arm bicep shot, the rear lat spread, and the twisting rear double bicep. All right, so let's start with a front double bicep, okay? There's like some AI fucking Hoover behind me just cleaning the floor, which is really fucking weird. So we're gonna crack on anyway. So the front double bicep, what Chris does here is when he hits his, the legs are good. Like if he wants to choose to hit his legs straight on, that's absolutely cool, okay? We're not gonna go into that today. But when he hits his front double bicep, you'll see he hits it like this, and his elbows, they kind of look in line with the shoulder joint, which is what you're looking for. But what he's doing is he's flexing down on the rear delts. And when this happens, you'll see as I come up into the pose, I engage my upper lats and then flex down on my rear delts. The elbow joint drops a little bit, and then the bicep peaks get hidden by the front delt, okay? So rather than having a nice bicep peak like so, we flex down on the rear delts, and boom, then we kind of get what Chris has got here. You'll also see that his fingers look like a little bit tight. He's probably really overly flexing his forearms. That's genuinely what happens when somebody is just trying to over pose, okay? So he's overly flexing his forearms, which takes away that feeling, that contraction in his bicep. And then when he gets up in there, he really flexes down on the delts to overly contract the lats, okay? So how do we fix this? What I would say firstly to do is just relax the forearms. Don't fully contract the forearms until you get into the pose. Then what we wanna make sure is that we get a proper bicep contraction, okay? We really wanna feel for a proper bicep contraction before we set the lats into the pose, okay? Now the reason why is because when we come up into the shot, if I focus on inhaling, thoracically extending, and flexing into the biceps, boom, there's my biceps. Now I can flex down into the upper lats. And I wanna make sure it's just the upper lats. I don't wanna flex down into the rear delts, because then, like I say, it hides the bicep peak. Now the next pose that we wanna fix is the mantis, okay? So when he hits the mantis, when Chris hits it, his leg position is not too bad. We could probably pull that leg back a little bit more so the legs sweep together. This is what we call core position 2. Okay, and then when he hits the mantis, he's very, very much side on. His actual arm positioning is actually good, but it's the torso angle in comparison to this dimension, laterally leaning towards the judges to show the chest, and it's the rotation of the torso, okay? So in this position, what we would want to do is we would want to laterally lean to really show the chest towards the judges, but then I would also want to rotate a little bit more, and I just want a bit of push and pull, okay? What I mean is you're going to protract the scapula on the right arm and push it out like you're reaching for something. Imagine you was really reaching for something, how much that shoulder would be protracted. And then this left arm, as this shoulder protracts, you're going to pull this arm back, and that's going to create this kind of push and pull method, okay? So when we come up into the mantis, we're here and not here, like Chris is, okay? Now the next pose we're going to go ahead and fix is the single arm twisting bicep shot, which is this pose here. Now when Chris hits it, he has a tendency to lean forward into the pose. It's also what he does in his twisting rear double. Kind of leans forward, overly contracts back into this trap here to pull this trap back, and then he's kind of here in this position. To fix this, we need to make sure that we have the body alignment correct from the ground up. So this is the same leg position that we hit in the mantis pose, okay? Just on the other side. So we want to have hips contracted forward. We call it like dick forward. You know, if you had your missus on all fours in front of you, you would be like, that's where you want to be. So we've got that trailing leg where this knee roughly lines up with the center foot. Okay, and then we're contracted nice and forward on the hips. From this bit, I just want to feel a little bit of a lean back, just a little, okay? And then what I would teach people to do is just flare the lats, rotate into the pose like a quarter turn. So boom, 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 then hit the shot. And then this arm, you do want to keep it contracted back in the trap, but you don't want to squeeze up. You want to keep contraction down in the lat and push down. So we're here. Okay, now the next pose is the twisting rear double. He hits it on the other side. The leg position just needs to be a little bit lower than core position 2, okay? You hear me talking about core positions, guys. If you want to check out the entire flow print, which is our full step-by-step system, which teaches you how to flow, you can click the link up here and you can watch that 3-hour masterclass for free. Then all this jargon will make sense. Core position 3, though, is basically core position 2, but a little bit lower. We just let the back leg drop a little bit more. We keep our hips centralized. And from this angle, we basically take a step out. So when we twist into the pose, we have space to keep ourselves stabilized. If this leg is here, then you'll notice you'll go all wobbly, which is why a lot of people lose balance in the twisting rear double, okay? So what we want to do is get that firm leg position, hips forward, and then get a real good lean back so that our body weight is being taken on the back leg. Then as we rotate into that pose, we thoracically extend, lift the chest into the shot. I'm going to hit the twisting rear double on my bad side here. Let's see how it comes out. Lifts into the shot, and then boom, we can hit it. As opposed to leaning forward where Chris is in this pose and this elbow's down a little bit. We just want to lean back on the pose, centralize the body weight, turn into the pose, thoracically extend, and then this is just like a rear double bicep now, okay? I hit it much better on this side. Boom. Now the next pose is the lat spread, okay? What I'm going to give advice to you, Chris, is just to try not to squeeze your traps and just to understand what it feels like in a rear relaxed. It's very similar to a rear lat spread. So if I'm in this position here, I do my leg position for my rear lat spread, and I hit my rear relaxed. The rear lat spread should feel very, very similar, okay? Unfortunately, some people squeeze back, and then when they try and open out, they don't open out from the lats, they keep their traps squeezed, and then you're taking all of that beautiful thickness and lat width that you have away. So my cue would be to hit your rear relaxed, okay, in this position, and then just understand that this is the feeling we want in our rear lat spread. We can place our hands here and then lift up into the chest. That's actually a really good way for a lot of people to fix their lat spreads. All right, so now we've got all of the poses perfect. We're gonna check out the footwork, how we can improve that. All right, so now going through the footwork, we're gonna go through the full routine in the order that it's in, essentially, okay? So we're gonna break it up now into flow stacks, which is where I break down X amount of poses, and we go like flow stack 1, which is the beginning, flow stack 2 in the middle, flow stack 3 at the end. So the first flow stack, he starts in a nice, boom, classic most muscular, which is wicked, throws the arms out, boom, up, boom, and then up, boom into the front double bicep. Nothing wrong with that. Love that part of the routine. I think it's fucking sick. Okay, then from there, he throws the arms out, which is cool, does a nice simple pivot, This is the first mistake, okay? The first mistake is that I don't think Chris is sure whether he's in a side leg position for a side chest or he's in what we would deem core position 2. So the first thing is just choose the position. You could hit the side leg, okay, in the poses that he does, in the classic side chest and in the mantis, or you could adopt for just core position 2, or a mix of both, okay? If you wanted to come from here, boom, core position 2, and then boom, up into the mantis, all the other way around, we just need to decide where you're actually at with that one, Chrissy boy. Once we've hit that pose, okay, which is the mantis, boom, this is the first major piece of footwork I would say that he can improve, is how he goes from here into the single arm twisting bicep pose. So how I would improve this is just by taking one actual step back. So when he's in this leg position, I would take a full step back, then I would use my pivot. So then I would pivot, and then I would actually, you've got two choices, step forward again to hit the pose, or you could then drop the foot back, which I actually think would look really nice, okay? So what would happen is we'd come from the mantis here. Let me get in the camera so we can use the full framing. So we're gonna hit the mantis, then we're gonna take a step back, pivot, then drop back, boom, and hit this single arm bicep pose, okay? So that will be sick. It's mantis, okay? Then boom, step back, pivot, drop, boom, into that single arm bicep pose, okay? Okay, so the next little issue with this piece of footwork is when he's in the single twisted arm pose, he takes a step, and then he's in his rear lat spread. But generally in a rear lat spread, you're gonna be having that foot back. So what I would opt for, which I think would be much easier, is literally just throwing the foot to exactly where you need it to allow yourself to land in that rear double leg positioning, okay? So we would literally just take the single arm twisting pose. I would throw this arm out as I do this. So throw the arm out, boom, and just land into the shot, okay? I think it'll be much, much smoother and much, much more elegant. So we could go boom, here, and then hit that rear lat spread. All right, now from the back lat spread, Chris actually he turns around and he's like, come on, which is absolutely cool, because in the actual song, it's like the Spartan song. It's like, are you not entertained? Which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna give that one to him because I know what the actual soundtrack was for this. But then it's going into the twisting rear double bicep, and then from there into a few rear poses before we come and finish it up. The way I would do this, so let's say he's finished that lat spread, he's chilled, come out, make sure you keep that midsection tight, bro, when you turn. And then he does his little to the crowd, which I think is really cool. And then he goes into that twisting rear double bicep. What I would love to see is a big step into the twisting rear double bicep, okay? I just think that would be really cool. So when he's here, like, are you not entertained? And then he steps up and then takes a little hop into the pose. So he goes, boom, and then lay them arms out nice and big, and then hit into the shot, okay? So he's coming up, are you not entertained? And then boom, into the pose, skadoosh, okay? Then from there, he basically sort of takes a step and then starts hitting like, I think he hits like a lat spread, an archer, and a rear double bicep. I would remove the lat spread because he's already done it. I would go straight into that archer from the twisting rear double. And this is how I would do it. Once I've thrown myself, boom, into that rear double bicep, I would then pop the arms up, take a step, and then come straight into that archer, boom, okay? Then I would circle round, square up, and then come in to that rear double bicep. I actually think that was very similar from the other FLOWFIX that we did last week, but I'm just going off of what you guys are sending me in here. By the way, I don't ever like to change the posing routine too much because it's about understanding how you guys can make your routines better based on what you already have. I believe that very, very simple posing routines can become extremely entertaining just by understanding how to move and little tips and tricks. So again, we're from the rear double, twisting rear double bicep. I would take that step and pop the arms up, boom. Then all that's left is just to pivot and angle my body into core position 1. Again, go check out the 3-hour masterclass if you want breakdowns on these positions. And then pop round into the archer, okay? Then I'd pop that arm up, step back, boom, hamstrings, boom, give him a little party at the back here, boom, 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 rear double bicep, okay? Then from there, how I'm gonna bring it back round and finish the routine is a little bit different to how Chris did. So what Chris does is on the rear double bicep, he then basically just comes around and then like hits like a side chest. But that's not really like a cool way to end it, okay? What I'd love to do is one of my favorite flows, which is essentially a 180 spin, and we drop it into a kneeling. We'll give him a twisting rear double bicep because we know it's a good pose for him. I think the pose would be wicked for Chris if he really nails it. So from here, boom, rear double bicep. I would throw the left arm down, face my foot the way I want to go, throw the leg, then drop back down, boom, into a twisting rear double. Then I can, boom, pop the arms up and end in like a nice, like fucking manly, I'm fucking done, man. Like, that's it. That's all for you bitches, you know? So we can basically take it into a really cool ending. So it'll be here, rear double bicep, boom, 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 boom. All right, so now all that's sort of covered, you know, footwork, posing execution, kind of covered the arm dynamics in there as well. And then we also showed you like a little cool transition and how we would end it. Let's put the whole thing together. Just remember, guys, that the soundtrack we use for this is not the original soundtrack that Chris used for it. So we have to cut in some slack in that you're probably gonna see my timing's better, but that's because he wasn't actually posing to this song. But hey, it's YouTube and copyright is a bitch. So let's put that all together and see how the routine looks. And then hopefully you'll get a good idea of how we can take like sort of, I don't want to say basic routines because I think Chris done a wicked routine, but essentially taking a routine and just showing how we can make it world class. Because it's not the poses you necessarily do. I mean, you do need to choose poses that are good for your physique, but I could make any routine look world class, good enough to go on the Olympia stage, if you just learn how to move your body, how to execute the poses, how to incorporate proper footwork, and how to then just really, you know, feel and express yourself through the routine. And that just kind of comes with time. If you want to just comment below FLOWFIX and then we'll have a little chat, or you can message me on Instagram, DM me and send in your routines and stuff, and I'll show you how I can improve your poses. And if you want anything else to do with posing, you can just hit up the Posing University, links in the description, we'll help you out.